Blackfoot Communications continues to lift up our local entrepreneurs, delivering the resources needed to transform ideas into businesses. Our C2M beta program was founded with the mission to connect local entrepreneurs to more. With access to more professional expertise, more state-of-the-art technology, and more development resources, our 12-week program delivers the foundational and modern skills required to transform influential ideas into thriving businesses. Apply today at goblackfoot.com/apply.
Hey, man, I'm on autopilot right now. Give us one second. Guys. I'm on phone. Starts on the 17th. Xavier.
Champ, when you speak to us, refer us as champ. Two-stop. Two-time.
Go ahead. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm ready. All right, guys, we're just going to open it up to the media for any player questions.
For anybody who would choose to answer, you all were in something of a shootout with Northern Colorado just a week ago, and I think today was their lowest shooting percentage of the entire season. What kind of defensive effort did you all put together in anticipation of this game?
Northern Colorado's a great team. They're probably the best offensive team in the conference, but we knew we had to defend to win this championship. And especially a team like that, they could put up 85, 90 points easily. They really shoot the three ball well, and we knew we had to defend the three-point line and, live with them making tough twos and, just contesting at the basket and also just making them make tough shots. So it took a lot. We had a great game plan going into it. Our coaches did a great job, preparing us for this, and all we had to do is just go out there and execute it.
And Abdul, to you directly, I know the team always has a whole lot of belief in the shooters that are on this roster. To get such great contributions from Nick and Tyler today, how much fun did that make this game, and how important were those shots?
First and foremost, shout out to Coach Russ. Man, we spent, I don't even know, countless hours. It's unseen stuff. We called it the shooting club, and he got everybody in there to shoot. I don't think we didn't shoot it as well last year. We wasn't a good shooting team, and that was the emphasis coming into this year. We wanted to be a team that spaces it. We got the MVP right here. We're trying to get him to block. We can't let everybody double. So we know Nick and Tyler, they're dead eyes. So we have the most trust in them, and we want them. Every time they touch it, it's a good look for us. That's good offense for us. And, man, it's unbelievable, man. You can see the things we do. We're so deep in numbers, and we're strength in numbers. I'm just proud of them. I'm happy for them.
Culture Sky Sports. Jubrile, what's this feel like? You get the MVP early in the week, now you're going dancing late in the week. How's it feel?
It's not even a feeling I can describe, honestly, because I've been waiting for moments like these my whole life. And to finally do it with my brothers and with Zeno, especially coming from London, we've actually made it, man. We've done everything that we said we were going to do after that last championship game, and so much stress has been lifted off me, for real.
And Abdul, Coach Spriggs subbed everybody out except you, and you had a little dance, and you got subbed out right after that. But I mean, when you're doing it, when you're untucking your jersey, you're in the middle of the court. I mean, what's that moment like?
I'm in autopilot. I just told them, man. It's so surreal, man. You live, you dream of these. I'm not, as a kid, being from Canada, I used to watch YouTube videos of guys who went to March Madness and the one shining moment and all that stuff. So I was just taking it all in, and I still can't believe it today, right now. It's gonna take me, I don't know, a couple days, but I gotta wake up. Right now, I'm just dreaming, and I don't want to wake up. So
don't let him trick y'all. He crazy.
Crazy.
Man.
It's kind of open to anybody that wants to answer, but you guys have probably watched your fair share of Selection Sundays and obviously March Madness itself. So, what is tomorrow going to feel like when you see the Montana State name on national television?
It's gonna be litty. It's gonna be a great feeling. I mean, just all the work we put in this summer, this fall, and just to continue work through the season. Last year we had a lot of motivation. We were on this stage last year, and we didn't complete the goal. And but man, just selection Sunday, like Abdullah said, this stuff you dream of as a kid, and I mean, it's like we're living our dream, and I mean, we're blessed. We're blessed. You know, yeah, that's all we can say. We're blessed.
Smell the chicken wings.
Smell the chicken wings. Shout out Fred for chilling, man. Shout out Fred.
I mean, you kind of came out and you really took the offense. You just came out balling early. Was that something you were thinking of this championship game, or is the ball just finding you?
Yeah, that was just the mindset. Come out aggressive. We always talk about it in the locker room beforehand. We always got to come out aggressive. And recently, there's games that we always have slow starts, and we always have to pick ourselves up during the games. And I felt like this was the right moment for everyone to just come out aggressive, and we all conquered that, and we executed every game plan.
And X, you kind of touched on it last year, obviously disappointing heartbreak. But this year, you guys are champs. Let's talk about that.
I mean, I remember what's crazy. I always remind them we were sitting at Jubrile and Amin's apartment, sitting in the living room, just talking. And it's a true story. We were talking about coming back coming back, and we all decided if one come back, we all gonna come back. And we talked about what we wanted to do, and we wanted to come back and win a Big Sky championship. We knew we had the ability to do that. The coaches recruited a great class and brought a lot of talent in that really, you know, came in and helps us, you know, and we all complement each other well. But yeah, we were sitting in the living room and we were talking about this in June, July, you know, and just for it to happen, man, it's crazy. I mean, these are my brothers. I mean, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
For Amin, Xavier, and Abdul, obviously, the three of you guys utilized the extra year to come back, and like you just touched on, Xavier, just what that was like, those conversations. So to see that pay off at this point, I mean, just can you guys even describe what that feels like to even see, like, you know, you got the extra chance, you guys took advantage of it?
I mean, I wish I could. Like right now, my head's just all over the place, and this is just a real moment. And the fact that we were able to do that, talk about it beforehand, letting each other know that we have a chance to do it this year, and we accomplished it. What more could you ask for? A chance.
It was tough too. We got a lot of old jokes from Coach Kountz. I didn't know. No more. Yeah.
And Jubrile, obviously, Coach talked about this week the knee and just what you kind of been overcoming with, you know, through this tournament. So for you to be here sitting in this moment, you know, knowing what you've kind of gone through personally the last week, 2 weeks, you know, what does that mean to you?
It means the most to me because, you know, my teammates just have my back. You know, I can trust them, I believe in them, and we had a goal that we needed to accomplish, and, you know, they just helped us all do it. And, you know, I couldn't, you know, play at 100%, but, you know, I was just trying to do my best, trying to help the team, and it was
You
enough.
did a good job of doing your best, all you guys did. You need everybody doing their best.
You just want to interrupt on this. Yeah.
Security.
But for real, man. One more thing, shout out the 6-Man Club. Without them, none of this is possible. Like the foundation they have in Bozeman, like athletics, from Leon Costello to the programs, everything, it's high level, and we can't do it. And the city of Bozeman is unbelievable, man. I wish everybody gets a chance to see it because you probably don't want to leave, man. Just shout out Bozeman.
Shout out Bozeman.
I'll open this to anyone who wants to answer. I was actually going to ask this before Coach walked in here, but what can you say about the job that he's done with this program, getting back to the tournament for the first time since 1996?
And he's done a great job. One thing I can say is this program isn't for everybody. You know, he challenges us, he makes us uncomfortable, and he expects perfection. And not everybody is able to take that. But man, he pushes us. I mean, just seeing somebody who's so invested in us, I mean, it's more than just a player-coach relationship with him. You know, he's always looking out for us, always making sure we're good. You know, when we're doing good, you know, he's our best friend. But when stuff going bad, he's on us, you know, rightfully so. But man, the biggest thing is he believes in us. You know, I mean, we believe in him. He always has our back. He's over there going crazy and stuff like that. But man, that's our guy right there, and you know, that's the GOAT, you know, so.
GOAT.
And I don't want him being the only one player to go to the dance, so that's what we got on him right now, too. I didn't want to be the only one. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that 1996 no more.
Abdul X and Zeno, I asked Jubrile this down on the court about, you know, the being recruited to come here and being given a pitch of what this program can be. To now be a part of this program's history and to see that vision is now reality. How much are you going to savor all the hard work that went into this?
This is it. You know, all the hard work you put in. I mean, this is it. This is where it shows like everything you did, all those lines you're running, weight room sessions, early practices, long practices. Everything adds up to equal to this. And I mean, it's just a moment, feeling. You know, you'll never forget. You know, coming here, we definitely try to make memories we'll never forget. And I think we did a pretty good job doing that.
Mm-hmm. Any more for this group? Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all, man.
Get you some extra meal tonight, too.
Oh yeah, and, shout out Coach Spring's mom's Kountz too. Oh man, wow. That's my pregame meal. So shout out Mama Spring.
Thank y'all, man.
Coach, I want some of the pepper wings.
Hey, I smell the wings. I smell the wings, Coach.
Hey, I smell the wings too. Shout out Fran Frischilla.
JT.
Hey. Yeah.
Some of you guys are black.
Oh, you did. All you
guys forgot your black.
MVP wants
My
to
bad,
too.
Wow. I mean, it was our best game of the year. And to be honest, like I knew that shooter, I just told, Leon, that shoot around this morning, I'm going through everything, I'm stressed out. And I heard a couple guys and they were whispering to each other. And they were like, can you smell the wings? Can you smell the chicken wings? And it comes back to Fran Frischilla talking to us in Colorado before we had our shoot around. And he was like, there's going to come some time in January, February, where you hit some adversity. And you got to remind these guys, can you smell the chicken wings? Because everybody on Selection Sunday has chicken wings at their deal. And you have to be able to fight through that adversity. You got to be able to see past just what you're going through right now. You got to see that end goal. And, I know that's not relevant to the game, but I knew this morning these guys were locked in. And it took our best effort. I mean, they're a tremendous team. They missed some shots. I think their legs were a little heavy. But I do think our defense had a lot to do with that, too. And, offensively, we're tremendous. Nick and Tyler, the first half, knocking down threes. X has been tremendous the entire year. As much as I put the ball in his hands and he has to create for everybody, he's just a warrior. And Jubrile, like I said all week, he probably shouldn't be playing. And I know you guys probably don't believe me because you see him out there. What he's fought through with his injury it shows what kind of teammate he is and how important his teammates are to him. But I thought it came down to getting stops to hold that team to 66 points, in a pretty high-paced game is a tremendous credit to our guys.
Cool for the last guy on Sports Daily. I'm sure since the moment you graduated from Montana State and then your spurt as an assistant, you believed this was possible, but it's eluded the Bobcats for that amount of time. So how did you guys make this happen? How did you guys make this dream come true?
I had a vision when I got the job, and I'm relentless with our players with that vision. I make sure they know that, and anything less than that vision is not acceptable. And from showing up on time to the weight room, showing up on time to class, like the little things, they add up. The discipline, that's what wins big games like this. And it's not all just basketball. It's doing the right thing. We talk a lot about hard work works. It is hard work to bust back and get back at 3 in the morning, be at 8 o'clock class. But yet we're still checking their classes because they need to know that's important. And everybody on our team. Sometimes I always concerned, like, man, we're too nice. We're too nice to kids. Like, we gotta get some edge. But when they get on that court and they step in between those lines, they compete. And they've continued to just shock me. How competitive they are, and no matter what they're hitting, at that time, they find a way to get through that.
And 3 of those 4 young men that were to sit up there, they had to choose to come back. So what can you say about their choice and just the way they led you through this tournament time?
Yeah, and a lot of that is our six-man club, and Ben and Sue Schmidt and Leon and Wadet, making that possible. It's not possible without those three guys, let's be honest. And, we're very fortunate to, have some boosters step up with the funds that we're able to bring those guys back. And, Abdul, we call him Dooley. Dooley alluded to that in his, because he knows he wouldn't be here without them. But, we're not done. Like, I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to, we still have another game. We gotta go compete against whoever we're seeded against.
Danny, it's obvious that in your program, players have to be okay with being coached very hard. You touched on this briefly in terms of the relentlessness of chasing that vision. What does that, tough coaching look like today? How do they respond to that? And at the end of the day, how does that lead to here?
Yeah, they respond to it. They know if they're not executing things the way I want them done. I've been here. This is my 5th time going to the NCAA tournament. I know what it takes. I was built from Coach Braswell and Diedrich Taylor. Like, those are tough dudes. It wasn't always easy to go to work every day, okay, with the demands that were placed on me. But I knew if I wanted to get to where I wanted to get to and be a head coach, I knew it was going to pay off. And it did. And I instilled that in my players. I know what you have to do to beat Montana, to beat Weber, to beat Northern Colorado, to beat Sac State, like Eastern Washington. Like, you have to be really good, but you got to be tough. You got to be able to play a bunch of different styles in this league. And, I think, that's part of our system is doing that. But a lot of it is that belief. I've almost had to force feed that belief down these dudes' throat. Because you can get comfortable in Bozeman because it's an unbelievable place and you're always getting patted on the back. And it's my job to make sure they're always uncomfortable because I know what's ahead and I know the problems that they're going to run into. And, just from experience as a player and a coach.
And can you take us through what the contributions you received from your assistants all throughout the year and how their help has helped lead this team and helped lead you to this moment?
They're awesome. They recruit really good kids. They recruit kids that fit me. They know how I coach and they know that it takes a certain kid. It's not built for everybody. Like, you got to want to be great in all aspects. On and off the court, you're not going to make it. And some people might shy away from that. I don't, because if guys don't want to do those things, you're not going to win stuff like tonight. And I don't even want you at Montana State if you're that type of guy. And so, but my staff is phenomenal. Chris Haslam, Dan Russell, Ken Moses, Jamal Smith, one of my former players at Fullerton. They've done an unbelievable job from a scouting perspective. Keeping great energy in the office, like relationships with players, and all the stuff that goes into that. I've been an assistant for 20 years. I know how important their role is. And, you don't win if you don't have a great staff.
Coach, when you get defensive efforts like you did today, team play like you did today, how hard are you guys to beat?
Yeah, I mean, if we're defending and we're not turning the basketball over, like we're pretty hard. I think we have a really good mix of inside, outside. Anytime you have a great point guard and a great 5, you got some shooters and slashing, it's hard. That's why Northern Colorado's hard to guard. Montana, Eastern, Weber. I mean, Weber's got so much talent too. And it comes down to, can you get the stops when you have to get stops? Can you grind out a game sometimes when you might not be making shots? And this group has continued to do it. Like, I'm still shocked. Like, we won 27 games with our schedule. Like, playing on the road, like traveling the whole first semester, like, it's unbelievable.
How rewarding has this season been for you to be able to come back to Bozeman and kind of does this bring back memories of when you were playing?
It does. I get texts, and I know my phone, I don't even want to look at my phone. Because I get texts from all the former players. That's what gets me out of bed every morning. Leon, Casey, like Bobcat Nation, Dick Hart, Larry Austin, Brett, like all these people that I have personal relationships with, that's what drives me. Like, it gives me so much energy every day because I know how important it is to the people there, and they've been starving for this moment for a long time. And I meant it like that. This is for them. This is for my team, former players, and Bobcat Nation. This has nothing to do with me. I have a couple changes, but this is for them because I know how important it is to them.
Danny, your players, prior to you coming up here, Xavier was telling a cool story about last summer. They were talking about coming back and what it could be like. So to see those guys who use that eligibility in that COVID year to come back and see it pay off, does that also make us just a little more special knowing their gamble kind of paid off?
No question. And it wasn't even a gamble. Like they wanted to come back, and they were coming back. And I was going to make sure of it. It's probably illegal, but even if I had to pay for all their stuff out of my own pocket, those three were coming back. Because they're just, first off, they're good. They're great kids. You saw them, you've interviewed them, and they deserve this moment, And but I would have drove to Springfield, I would have drove to Canada to get Abdul. Like they were coming back.
We'll pretend the NCAA didn't hear that last part.
Yeah,
Coach.
Well, I didn't do it. So.
Danny, you talked a little bit, I know when you guys won the regular season title, about the 96 team, that you still have a piece of the net from when you guys cut it down all those years ago. And the guys were mentioning it too, how, you're no longer the only guy on the roster, on the staff who's been to the tournament. How have you put that in perspective for them throughout the year? And how have you kind of reminded them of what it takes and just kind of going back to that team?
Yeah, after we, bust back from Montana after getting our tail kicked, we got off the bus. I had the guys meet in the locker room, and I brought them out to the court. And I showed them the banner because we were playing Southern Utah that Tuesday to get our name on that banner. And I said, you guys have no idea how many people have their blood, sweat, and tears, and their teams aren't on that banner. And you guys have that opportunity. And I made sure that they know that there's nothing like a championship team. There's nothing like it. It bonds people forever. Like I said, our text thread with my 96 team, every day they're texting me something, and it's a special bond. And when you go through some of these shared experiences like that we've been through, our retreat, the games, adversity, and then you win a championship, there's nothing like it. And these guys, 20, 30 years from now, they're going to be able to bring their kids back, their wives, they're going to be able to, look at that, I was on that team, 2022, that's me. I told them, no matter what hardships you go through in life, you're going to be able to lay your head down. 40, 50, you're a champion. And nobody can ever take that away from you, no matter how hard life gets.
Coach, just what's tomorrow going to mean like for not only your team, but for just Montana State in general? Because a couple actors, after you guys see your name pop up on the selection show, come and get their name on the selection show as well. So just what's that going to be like, just celebrating with your team and also the women as well?
It's like, this can be awesome. I mean, how about the women? They've kind of set the standard too. Like Coach Benford, her staff, like their girls are tremendous, and I don't know what it's going to feel like. I know what it felt like as a player, and I'm excited to see my players and see the joy they get jumping around. And we're going to be eating so many damn chicken wings. It's going to be crazy.
Coach, over the last couple of days, you and your players have talked to me about how you kind of settled into the game, and once you got settled in the game, you were on. Tonight, you basically got settled in right when the tip happened. How are you going to do that?
We made some shots early, which I think kind of relieved a little bit of the pressure and some of the nerves. It's funny because Leon came into the locker room like half hour before the game. He's like, "Hey, can we get off to a fast start? We don't need to be down 8-0." And I was like, "Yeah, I hope not." But it was, we knocked down a couple shots. Like I said, Nick and Tyler, I thought, knocking down some of those threes, they were huge momentum plays. Even Tyler, the one he hit, they kind of sealed the game. I don't know how much time, 4 or 5 minutes left. And they're still dangerous. I was reminding our staff and players, like, they did this to Southern Utah. They were down 17 with 5 minutes to go and came back and won that game. Like, they're capable with their talent. And, the guy, they kept battling. And got off to a good start.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about sort of the fans we're here. It seems like every time there's a Bobcat game here, you see that the Bobcat fans took outnumber any other non-fans that were here. How much of that was a factor in just getting the sport that you had in the confidence?
It was huge. Like, I don't know how many, 2,000. I don't know how many people were here, but it was absolutely awesome for them to come down, make a 7-hour drive, or flying down, and their energy carries us. They carried us the last couple home games. We had to play 4 games in basically 5.5 days. And their energy and, the love they have for our players, like, our players feel that. That's what's important to me. Like, I want my guys to feel loved. And Bobcat Nation and all these fans, that's what they do, and that's why they give them that effort.
Coach, you counted down to this minute every single week on our show, and you said pay rent every day. So how do you pay rent when you go to the NCAA tournament?
I'll tell you what, they paid rent today. I know that. And we're going to enjoy this. We may not pay rent tomorrow, but we're gonna enjoy this one for a while. But we have to get back and yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go spend some time with my mom and dad. I know that. My sister who's here, and uncle, friends, and probably everybody. I'm where I'm going to be.
Anyone else? Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Congratulations there, brother.
1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time. As the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Coach, starts off the opening statement.
Yeah, just it's like I told our guys in the locker room, pretty much every team in the country is going to end with an L. If you make it to postseason, I think there's 4 tournaments. And in those 4 tournaments, there's almost, 360, 365 teams in Division I. Even if you make it to a tournament, you're going to end with an L unless you win the whole thing. And so, 99.9% of teams are going to feel the way that we feel right now. So it's a hard feeling, it's a painful feeling, but it's a reality. With that being said, Montana State's played great, and I tip my hat to them. I have a lot of respect for their program. Coach Sprinkley's a good friend of mine, not just a coaching friend, but like a real friend, and he does it the right way. And so, as we were heading up here and just kind of get some of the stats, it was the lowest field goal percentage we shot all year, and you got to give them credit as well. They played really hard, but I thought we had great looks. Even early on when they got that lead, and we just didn't make shots we've made for the past 34 games. And so what happens is, now you're a little bit out of sorts. You got to scramble, you got to press, you got to do some things that we're okay at, but you're playing catch up. And in the lineups, the rotations, everything is a little bit out of sorts. And I'm just proud of our guys that played hard to the end, and like I told the guys in the locker room, I love these dudes, including these 2 guys. These are the embodiment of what our team and our program is about, and not just these 2 guys, all of our guys. But I'm just telling you that I'm proud to lose with these guys. You're going to lose, and I'll lose with these guys any day. So I know we're disappointed, but I'm still proud of them, and they played so hard and so well. And the closer you get to the sun, the closer you get to that mountain peak, when you fall, it hurts that much harder because you're that close. And so I get it. I know how disappointed they are, but love these dudes, and they gave it everything they had. So there's no reason for them to hang their heads.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll open it up to player only questions.
Coach Nuance, Scott, Sports Daylen. What was your mentality coming in this game, and how was Montana State able to sort of take control early?
Mentality is just to come out, just keep fighting and, play the way we've been playing all year, just give ourselves a chance to win. And early we weren't playing as well as we wanted, and, they just outplayed us.
And Kurt, same question for you. They have 2 of the best bigs in the league. You're one of the best bigs in the league. So how'd you prepare yourself for this, and how was Montana State able to maintain control for duration?
I think coming into this game, we prepared as this is our last game in our mind, so we didn't give everything we had. So came in this game knowing it's going to be a dogfight, and we gave everything our all. But it's one thing giving your effort, and another thing is with execution. I think they just executed a little more than we did, and that's the biggest difference. So,
I'll ask this question for both of you. How do you evaluate this season from start to finish?
Overall, it was a good season. We got our ups and downs. I feel like it was a pretty good season. Of course, there was some ups and downs, but I feel like we stuck together, we figured it out, and we grew a lot as a team this year. Just as Daylen said, this whole season has been a roller coaster, and we had some ups, we had some downs. We played well, played bad at times, but if I could do it all over again, I'll do it all over again with the same guys. That's how much they mean to us, and that's how much the season meant to all of us.
This is the best for both you guys. How do you just come off and playing with Montana State? That game ended the way it did. What is it about that team that must be really good? What is it about them for you guys, especially in the big
Like you said, they're a good team. They execute down the stretch, and it's going to be a dogfight. We're both good teams. We both kind of play similar, but they executed more. Just got to back to the drawing board now. But they're a good team. Hats off to them. Just as Daylen said, they're a good team. We're a good team, and you have two good teams clashing against each other. It's not who has more talent, who plays harder. It's just who can make the buckets at the right time, and hats off to them. They did when it counted, and I guess we didn't, but we still fought. So they earned this one. We didn't just give it to them.
Daylen, you played with these guys for so long, so if you can put it to words, what's it been like?
It's been crazy, man. Like I said, it's been a roller coaster. It's been down times, up times, but for us to be talking about getting to this moment all season and just actually being able to get here, it means a lot. Just because we talked about it, but it's been fun. It's been amazing. Anybody else I'd rather play with.
Thank you both. You guys can step out.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Now open up to Coach. Coach, Bodie Hume set the program record for most threes tonight. What kind of an impact has he had on this program?
That's a great question. Bodie's impact has nothing to do with his making threes or his scoring. I think he also finished top 5 or his top 5 all time in our program. That's awesome. But that, Bodie, we do a deal at the beginning of the year saying, hey, what 2 things can you bring to the program? And so Bodie's thing was like, I want to be the example of what a bear is. It had nothing to do with stats or scoring or anything like that. And he's done that. And Bodie trusted our staff and had faith in us when we were not good. He signed with our program after the sanctions, and I think the year that he signed, we won 10 games. And so Bodie had faith in us as a staff, and he's had a phenomenal career, freshman of the year, and all league, and all tournament teams, just done so much. And I know this loss, rips him apart so much, especially when down that injury early in the game as well. But just you look at Bodie, you look at how hard he plays. His legacy, and he will have a legacy. His legacy is not just about the stats, but that is amazing. All-time leader in threes and all that other stuff. But his legacy is that, when our program was down in the dumps a little bit, he was one of the guys that really said, hey, I want to be a part of this, and I want to get it, moving in the right direction. He's done that every single day for 4 years. So I love the guy, man. I just absolutely love him.
Absolutely. Also, with the COVID-19 road teams, there's a possibility of some players returning for an extra year. What's the situation?
Yeah. It's really goofy, right? So, it's another very good question. The only guy that can't come back because he's exhausted all of his eligibility is Drew Cookshausen. He's a grad transfer, and I don't think there's any more years left. And so everyone else, when the season's over, we'll sit down and obviously I'd take them all back. For us, so many things you got to look at in terms of their academics and things like that. In terms of if they graduated, if they have his master's, the right program. Some of these guys have the ability, if they want to, with graduating, to be able to go play professionally. And so there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. So we'll have those meetings individually after the season. We've had those meetings, those guys, all the way back to last summer. And I think it just goes back to having a good relationship with all those guys and understanding that, hey, let's really have open and honest communication on what the best situation is for each of them. But so many of those guys that have been around for so long, Bodie, Court, Matt Johnson, they've given everything to the program for years and years and years. How the impact Daylen's had as well. They're all on different tracks and academics and all other stuff. But I just, our whole thing is let's put all that to the side. Let's just, find a way to keep trying to push this thing forward and win. So those conversations will happen afterward. But you're right, with the free COVID year, time will tell, and every program in the country is going to have to figure that out one piece at a time.
Coach, I'll ask you the same thing I asked the 2 players. What about Montana State making so tough to how you guys played them in the first game?
Well, that's what I'm so proud about. Montana State won the league by 2 games. They're 16-4, I think, right? And so we're 2-game lead. I think we were 13-7, and they were 15-5, or whatever it is. But they won the league outright. You look at it. We beat them at our place in overtime, and it was an unbelievable game. at our place. Really, it felt like 6 months ago because it was in early December, but that was a great win for us. We knew then that they were good, and we knew we were good. And then you go to their place, we're dead in the water, and Bodie Hume hits a miracle three, and we're going to win the game, and then Raekwon Battle hits one from 40 feet. So I think that the big picture of our two programs is how close our two programs are. And that's what just makes this disappointing, just in the sense of I feel like this was a little bit of an anomaly, not to take anything away from Montana State, because they earned it, they played great tonight. But I just felt like, going into this game, this thing's coming down. I mean, we're thinking about what are we running the last play? Because that's what we thought was going to come. We weren't going to blow them out, but it's going to come down to the buzzer because it always does. And it's been like that for 2 years, even during the COVID years. Overtime at our place, and then last possession. But our last 4 games have come down to the last possession. And so that's why this one's a little strange. But at the same point in time, they earned it. So what makes them hard, though, is that they're really good. And, they got a bunch of super seniors, 6-year guys, whatever, with, I think Bishop and Mohamed and Adamu. And I think Bell's, up there in years as well. I mean, they got a bunch of old guys that they've been through the fire a long time. So they've seen it all, and they don't get shook. And I think, too, that, obviously they had a great crowd, and it was a great environment for those guys.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about the crowd as well. Obviously, Montana State not too far from here. Clearly, they had the fans more. They didn't feel like a road game. Is that mentality you got to have?
Yes, and that's okay, though, because, for us, we've actually been way better on the road than at home all year. And also, it was a great crowd, but when you played Arizona in front of 12,000 people, you can handle this. So I don't think the crowds would sway it. But I was talking to Coach Sprinkle before the game, and I was like, man, you got about 4,000 or 5,000 people here. And he's like, there's more coming today. He's like, there's a bunch that are rolling over buses and this and that. He's like, it's going to be even bigger. And again, they have the ability to drive up to the game and all that. But, he's done a great job. That program, I don't think he's won the tournament since like 96. And they hadn't won the regular season in 20 years. And so, like I said, I got a lot of respect for him. I've known him for a long time, and he's really got that thing rolling. So, the crowd was really good for him.
Steve, from a game plan standpoint, it seemed like you wanted to take away Bishop and Bello early. Gonzalez, Patterson, some of the role players hit some threes. How much does that kind of give them momentum and kind of really what you guys want to do? Well, that's the thing. In our first 2 games in the tournament, we did such a great job at limiting. We call them snipers, but limiting those 3-point shooters from getting threes. And you're right. When Gonzalez, Patterson, and Battle, when they get threes, it becomes a real problem. A couple of those threes were in our zone. Again, we don't usually zone that much, but we gave him some open looks there. Gonzalez hit a huge 3 where Zach Block was right on, had to just call a stick in. He was right there, and he just rose up over him and just drilled a tough shot. So they hit some big shots. The game plan certainly was still to take away those threes. The guy that really made him cook tonight was Bishop. Yeah, I think he only had 7 points at halftime, but he had 5 of their 6 assists. And when he starts, manipulating the game, he's so good that you got to change up your ball screen coverage. Excuse me. And you got to do some different things. So, Bishop, he's been really good in the league for a long time. And when he started doing what he was doing on ball screens, that really helped them out really in the game. Montana State as the Big Sky representative in the Big Dance, what do you think of their prospects and just them representing the league?
Well, one, them represent the league, and they're going to represent it with class, and so that's good. You want to have someone that represents your league with class. They're going to do it the right way. 2, they're good enough to win some games. Now they're going to, who knows in the seeding and stuff. I think, the history of this deal says they're going to 14 or 15. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not on the selection committee, but probably a 14 or 15. They're going to play someone really good. But I'm telling you, when you have not just a good team, but you got old guys, they've been through some fires. And, they lost the championship last year here. They've been through some big games. They're seasoned. And I would not be surprised if they make a little bit of a run and whoever they play. It just depends on matchups. So we'll see kind of who they draw. But no, they'll do a great job.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.